Okay, first question. Donna, right?
Donna.
You're here visiting Utah to make your annual donation to the Huntsman Cancer Research Center. How do you feel when you make your donation and see the difference your efforts make?
Well, it's really kind of overwhelming sometimes because when we first started doing this many years ago, when Storm started sponsoring our event to raise money, and Barbara and I went to make the first donation, and I think Carol was with us and Leanne when we went to make the first donation, and it was the most amazing feeling to tour a place and know that your money was going to help a lot of people with cancer. And ours was designated for breast cancer, but when we got into the Huntsman and they started taking us on a tour of it, we could not believe what the impact that this money would have to help them, in research. And that's what we were pretty big for the research part. And so each year that we've been able to continue to raise money and go to this facility and see it, each year this facility keeps changing, and it is quite amazing to see. And I think for Storm and for X Out Breast Cancer, we're both so proud to be able to do this and see where our money's going. And it's been a lot of hard work to raise money, and each year we keep raising more and more, so we're pretty pleased with it.
You have a successful career outside of bowling in the Houston shipping industry, but you spend so much time in bowling. Why is that?
Well, the shipping industry, I was always raised in it, and I started at a very young age at 18 years old. And my father got me into it, and I just fell in love with it. It was pretty amazing to watch how a city could operate, shipping so much stuff out all over the world, and it became such a passion that that's what I wanted to do. And I continued to do it, and I went out and bowled some of the tour stops, and I had a weekend warrior events that I was in the regionals a lot, and I had a lot of success with it and had fun with it. But to be honest, I loved the shipping business, and I loved the money that was in it, and that was kind of the fun part of it. And it just became such a passion to see that every day that I worked in it, something different happened. It was never the same thing every day. In the shipping business, something happens every day that changes a whole pace of how things are going to run. And I think the exciting part of it is I got to have the best of both worlds. I had a great career in bowling, and I had a great career in my job, and I still get to do it. And bowling has just been such a huge part of my life that I love to do both, so I'll work in it as long as I can and keep doing what I'm doing.
How come you bowl so much? Like, what draws you into bowling?
Competing. I love to compete and the passion for it, and I like to win, and it's fun, and it never gets old. And it's probably the greatest thing of it is the competition and the people that are involved in it. There's just so many great people, and you meet people from all over the world, and it's just a blessing, and you become just such a big family that it's just amazing of what you can do with it. And I just love the sport, and I will do it till I can't do it anymore.
You give a lot of your time and experience back to youth bowlers, high school and college teams. What do you enjoy most about working with them?
They're new, and it's fresh, and they're exciting, and they have such passion for it, and it makes us get to relive our passion of what we have today in it. And it's so exciting to watch them succeed and go out and be successful in college and then go on to the tour. So coaching is a big part of giving back. And, we were all so blessed growing up in bowling of all the help that we had, and it's just nice to be able to give that back.
You run the annual mixed doubles event every summer. What do you enjoy best about that event?
Ooh, that's kind of a tough one. I don't think there's one thing in particular that really stands out as the best. I think it's not because it's our event, but it's such an amazing event because it brings everybody together under one roof at one time. And it's I tell people it's like a circus. There's so many things going on in the event at one time. You're in one ring and then you're going to another. And I don't think there's one thing that stands out. I think everybody as a whole works so hard in this event and makes everything to make it successful. And it takes a lot of people behind us to do it. It's not just one person that does it. It takes a village to do this. I mean, there's a lot of volunteers. We have to go get sponsors. We have a lot of sponsors, and Storm has been behind this event for 20 years, and we're just so thankful for everybody that's a big part of it.
Lastly, what would you like to see happen in the future of bowling?
I have to think on that one. Make sure I'm politically correct. I would like to see more tournaments for the youth, to see that, let them grow into our sport. I think the youth is our future, and I think the more that we can help bowling with that, I think is great. Another thing I'd like to see is more money for the women on tour and more money for the men. I'd like to see our sport taken more serious, that we deserve equally as much as the other sports do. We work equally as hard, and sometimes even having to work harder to make people recognize that our sport is worthy. And I think if we could get people to recognize that and everybody get on board with it and, set some things aside, I think we could make it all successful together.